should read topic number 5. Says, how much does the perception of criminality impact how African people are treated? This came with a link that's taking us to Twitter. By the way, there was a lot of great posts. I'll get to as many of them as I can by next week. So if I missed yours for today, don't worry, I'll bring it back next week. So this prompt brings us to a Tariq Nasheed post, interestingly enough. He said, the Bedouins wake-up call is real. This came with a 2.5-minute video. I'll play it back-to-back, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. And before y'all come at me in the comments, this is a personal testimony as someone who has dated outside of my race. Plenty, okay? A lot of y'all like what you see when you date a Black woman. You love the beauty of Black women, which I can't blame you. You love the aesthetic. You love how different we are. You love our bodies. But the problem is a lot of y'all don't even like Black people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Bruh, where are my Black women at that have dated white men? Because y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The Black women who have literally experienced being called the N-word by the white man that they're dating. Let's talk about white men that have literally had children by Black women, but can't stand Black people. Why do y'all do that? It honestly, I'm discombobulated because make it make sense. Hold up, let me do some math real quick. Yeah, it's not adding up because how you gonna date somebody and then just pretend the whole time like you really mess with them and fuck with them, and whole time you racist as hell, can't stand me. True story. I have a friend who's half white. She says her dad is a stone cold racist. When I say this white man hates it that his daughter identifies as a Black woman. Explain that to me. Please. I want to know. Get in the comments and explain it to me. Because y'all been doing this shit since slavery and even before then. Yeah, because we haven't forgotten. We ain't forgot. So y'all need to stop. If y'all really aren't down for Black culture and Black people, stop dating us. Because it's actually very disrespectful and it's hurtful. And I'm not with it. So stop.
So I think I made a huge mistake here. The prompt is wrong. Sorry about that. The prompt is wrong. The actual shoot the breeze topic number 5 tonight is, for some reason, it didn't post, I guess. Hold on 1 second. The actual prompt is much different. Let me just fix this thing.
So Koku, but my original quote was, "How can the Black woman be God if she lays down with the devil?" That was my original prompt to this question.
Yeah. I messed it up. Well, I promised we were going to watch the video twice anyway. So let's watch it again, this time with the correct prompt. My apologies for that.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. And before y'all come at me in the comments, this is a personal testimony as someone who has dated outside of my race. Plenty, okay? A lot of y'all like what you see when you date a black woman. You love the beauty of black women, which I can't blame you. You love the aesthetic. You love how different we are. You love our bodies. But the problem is a lot of y'all don't even like black people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Bruh, where are my black women at that have dated white men? Because y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The black women who have literally experienced being called the N-word by the white man that they're dating. Let's talk about white men that have literally had children by black women, but can't stand black people. Why do y'all do that? It honestly, I'm discombobulated because make it make sense. Hold up, let me do some math real quick. Yeah, it's not adding up because how you gonna date somebody and then just pretend the whole time like you really mess with them and fuck with them, and whole time you racist as hell, can't stand me. True story. I have a friend who's half white. She says her dad is a stone cold racist. When I say this white man hates it that his daughter identifies as a black woman. Explain that to me. Please. I want to know. Get in the comments and explain it to me. Because y'all been doing this shit since slavery and even before then. Yeah, because we haven't forgotten. We ain't forgot. So y'all need to stop. If y'all really aren't down for black culture and black people, stop dating us. Because it's actually very disrespectful and it's hurtful. And I'm not with it. So stop.
You know, it'll be easier to just stop fucking with white men. How about we try that first? As opposed to trying to appeal to this white boy. Buana, what say you here?
The question what Black Steel asked was directed specifically for Brother Bakari. So he needs to stop watching football and he needs to come back to this question because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about because when she say y'all, I don't know who's y'all. I don't know what she's talking about. You know, if she says she's dated outside her race, plenty. So she is not talking about me. And then she goes into how white men been treating or whatever. This question is not for me. This question is for This question is for Brother Bakari.
Well, earlier, Brother Bakari did prove, and I appreciated that because it shows balance. But he did prove that he doesn't always cape for black women. He did say black women is God, but sometimes you get annoyed with these gods. But it would be interesting if Bakari is still listening. Jump back on with us, and let's hear from you about it. In the meantime, let me ask MG2 his thoughts on it.
Moana said it best. She's not appealing to black folk. She's not talking to us. She's talking to someone that she's got more, inclined to wanting to convince. And that's her story. That's her game. That's her life. That's her priorities. Cool. Power to you. It doesn't, like Moana said, it doesn't pertain to us, or at least that definitely don't pertain to me, because she didn't ask me. She didn't say brothers. She didn't say black males. She didn't say black. She did talk to black females, but so clearly, she's got an issue that she's got to go up against. I guess, the white males that she's trying to convince. And I don't like to convince anyone. I used to, back in the day. I used to try to convince folks, to think the way I think and to believe what I say. Right now, I could care less. However, someone wants to perceive me, damn it, perceive whatever you want to do. God dog it, do it, because it doesn't really. I mean, it will not change the sun from setting in the west for me. So this young lady, if she's out there doing that, she should get on a sign and get on the street and maybe get on a soapbox and every white male that passes her way, she should say this. But really, hopefully, more Black women are not infected with this thing that most Black folks are infected with, as clearly this young lady is, and that's this thing to try to prove yourself to some other species. They're not even human. They're another species. And I'm not just talking whites. I'm talking non-Africans. The thing that we've been infected with, no different than the, setting out the balloons and the teddy bears and the flowers and the candles, like when we get shot, we're trying to go ahead and prove something to the folks that killed us. Hopefully this young lady will get her, get rid of her anti-drapetomania pills and kind of get to, get with the situation of saying, look, I could care less what this is. This has nothing to do with me. Clearly it does. She's got a history. Hopefully that many of us could stop proving things to others, even conversing to try to get a point across, just so we could get acknowledged or wanted or needed or admired or recognized or whatever else, and just live our lives as if we want to conquer this planet. I'll pass the mic.
Appreciate that, MG2. But Bakari heard the call and he answered. But Bakari, what say you?
Now, what question I need to answer, Bawana? Bawana, you asked the question since you say I need to answer it.
I did not. Brother Bakari, I did not ask the question. Black Steel suggested to this lady, if all Black women are gods, why are they lying down with devils? Maybe Black Steel could correct me and ask the question exactly like how he asked it.
No, you know what, Bawana? I'm gonna say you and Koku the only ones who Black Steel be getting scared of me. I don't know. He do like a zoo.
I ain't scared of you.
I'm just clowning. But see, he added. I say the Black woman is God. The Black woman is still God. She ain't gonna be a part of that because she don't want to be with God. She want to be with that. But the Black woman is still God. When I was hungry, it was a Black woman that fed me. I came from a Black woman womb, so I'm gonna turn around and I have no choice but to go up in a Black woman and make my Black kids. And you think I'm gonna let something like that take away how I feel? No, she just ain't nothing but a skank.
Hey, Brother Bakari, how do you tell the difference?
What you mean? How do I tell the difference? I tell the difference about who is she? Who are they dating? Who is she dating? She's talking about how she date outside of her race. See, even the women that chose the so-called, for the lack of a better, that chose the Brandons and the Carls. I'm sorry, not you. I ain't trying to say, I ain't even mess with you now. The Brandons and the Keith, formerly known as Pookie and Ray Ray. They God too. They chose a Black man. They just chose that Black man who don't know what he's supposed to be doing right now. So it's our job to teach them. The ones that know, we got to teach them. But when I see who they dating, no, I don't deal with them at all. They can stay over there. No protection, no nothing from me because they have made their decision. So I cut that off when it comes to them.
Go ahead, Carl. Get him, Carl. Get him, Carl.
See, well, I'm going to show you something. Before Carl get me, watch this. Because I had a woman last week that heard part of this conversation, and she said we cut that conversation off way too quick. Because Carl insinuated that Black women that's single was waiting on, the reason they're single is because they were waiting on a white man. I say they're single because they're loyal. Carl said they were single because ain't no white man chose them yet. And she looked at it as like, damn, he think that low of us? Because she was single till she met me.
I believe that. I believe that our sister may have misheard me, because what I was saying is that the reason that Black women don't date interracially as much as Black men do is because Black women are not seen as desirable for long-term relationships and marriage by other races of men. That's what I was saying. I don't think that's why. I'm saying that's why if you compare the rates of interracial marriage and dating between Black men and Black women, it's not that Black women are necessarily loyal to Black men. It's that other races of men don't want to marry or be in long term. They'll sleep with a black woman. To this woman's point, and you know what? It's a good point. That's a good segue, because what this woman is talking about is a perfect example. She talks about how these white men will lay up with her, have sex with her. She's bragging about how they want to have they're beautiful, but yet at the same time, these white men she's talking about are racist. The problem is that this woman doesn't understand. That's something I heard Diallo Kenyatta say. Racism is not about proximity. It's about power. So if you look at history, Thomas Jefferson, third president of the United States, he had a whole bunch of kids from an enslaved black woman who just happened to be his wife's sister. What was that one white senator, Strom Thurmond, white senator, segregationist. He had,
in Alabama.
In Alabama, thank you. He had a child from a black woman. So the ability to lay up and have sex with black people does not mean that you are not racist, because it's not so, as long as you have the power dynamic is white over black, that is what the reality is. So when I said about black women being loyal or whatnot, I'm speaking to this young lady here. She can't fathom the fact that, oh, how could you sleep with me and be racist? Ma'am, white men been fucking black women for centuries. They was fucking black women on the slave ships. Did that mean they weren't racist? Most of us have some measure of white DNA in us as a result of the violence and rape that these white people committed against us. So, just her whole line of thinking is like, instead of just leaving these white people alone, her outline, could you not be so racist? She's a bird. This woman's a whole bird. She's a whole goddamn aviary at this point. So I just, when I put this video, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So it's not so much that black women are loyal. It's just that, hey, you don't really have any other options outside of black men. Black men are the ship. Everybody else is the guy. You got to get it together.
Okay, so watch this, right? I ain't gonna sit on here and say that about black women. I say black women. See, basically, when I hear that statement, me and her felt the same way. You saying black woman is waiting on a white man's hand, and a black man really ain't shit. So the black men that actually have a black woman, the only reason you was able to get that black woman is because didn't no white man choose her. If a white man had chosen her, I wouldn't have a woman, you wouldn't have a woman, nobody on this panel would have a woman simply because a white man chose them. Me, I wouldn't say, I don't say that about, but see, because that one woman right there, she speak for a very small minority of single black women. See, you ain't a single man, so you might not talk to a lot of single women. I'm a single man, and I had talked to a lot of single women. Matter of fact, most of my friends, the one who has always had my back through thick and thin, which is another reason when I say the black woman is God, who I've been able to depend on more than anything. If I ever needed anything, the people that had my back was black women. So when the black women I know and will sit there and tell you what she's talking about, that's for her and the few people like her. And I'm not going to let her mindset taint other black women out here. And you might find a black woman that agree with what she says, because black people have accepted the fact that they are nothing. I would never say they're not desirable. So we just happen to get our women by chance because nobody else wanted them. No, I got my late wife, my kid's mother, my oldest son, I got them because they wanted a black man and they wanted a strong black man like me. The other women I deal with, they wanted a strong, and the women y'all deal with, hopefully that's what they was waiting on. But the way you put it is, the only reason a black man got a black woman is because nobody else would choose them. They're undesirable. Well, you know what? If they are, which I don't agree with, even if they are, I hope they remain undesirable. And this hoe right here can remain being a hoe for everybody else. She can stay where she at. We don't want her back.
Because that's not what I'm saying, though. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that the point was made that black men date outside their race more than black women, which is true. So the question is, do black women not date outside their race because they are more loyal than black men, or because other races of men don't desire them? I personally, I've never been with a woman outside of a black woman. Every woman I've ever loved has been black. So that's not
You're lucky
what
to
I'm
have
saying. But I'm saying when black women decide to date out interracially, they tend to be less successful than black men do. And it's not because of loyalty. It's because the fact that they generally are not seen as long-term marriage partners to black women. And this woman that we're talking about is a case in point. She has dated multiple races. She's dated multiple white men. And here she is online lamenting that white men that date her are racist. So what I'm saying is that not that black women can't get black men. I think most black women, as long as they stay within, they have their choice of black men. They just don't have their choice of other men outside the black race.
You know, I hear you, but I still say race loyalty. And I know KW Don put in there and say about a black woman being loyal has been debunked by a book. That person wrote a book on their experiences of the people that they talk to. See, everything don't have to be in a book. What about your life experiences? What about things that we have seen in the things that we have done and the people that we deal with, right? So I can introduce you to a whole lot of single black women that ain't got their mind or ain't thinking about no other race but a black man. And they gonna stay loyal because that's what they want. So when I talk, and I'm gonna say it again, I don't know how long you've been married, but I've been single I've been single for a long time now. 17 years? Yeah, since my kid's mother passed away. And of course, I was single before I got married. From the time I was in the military until the time now. The black women that I talk to and I know, and the ones who I meet through my women friends will tell you they're single because all they want is a black man. And I'm gonna ride with my women over me I'm not gonna publicly say my women is not desirable or they are waiting on a white man's hand. Why would I publicly say, what is that saying about the black man then? When we say the woman is undesirable or she's just single because she's waiting on a white man's hand, look in the mirror and answer, what does that say about the black man then? Why you're not desirable to your own woman?
No, this woman is a swirler. She don't want black men.
But I ain't talking about her. She gone. I'm talking about the other ones. Because when we say the black women ain't loyal, she only speak for her and the few people that think like her. She ain't speaking for majority of single. She ain't speaking for the majority of single black women. She's speaking for her and the few black women that think, did I ever meet any black women that act like that? Yep. And I talk about them to their face. I don't care. They're not on my team, so I don't care about them. So in the end, when they say, how can the black woman still be God? The black woman is still God. I don't know why the black man jealous of a black man. I don't know why a black man have a problem with another black man calling the black woman God, and we were all raised by black women. I don't get it.
I gotta say, first of all, single don't mean celibate. So my problem is what they've been doing in the meantime. While they wait for this black man, what they get into in the meantime? Because they have a lot of little one-offs that you probably have never heard of. But I don't have a problem. See, my only thing is I don't have a problem with venerating black women. I appreciate black women, like Brother Bakari say. In my travels, in terms of having my back, it's usually black women, and I have a lot of brothers and stuff like that. When the rubber meets the road, and when you really need to get down to brass taxes, I see the black woman face. So I don't have a problem well, I do have a problem with Brother Bakari going all the way to Yahweh, but I would say that I venerate black women and I respect black women. But I also know that black women are they are very flawed. So to put them in that category, or where we trying to go, I am not able to make that stretch yet. Maybe in the future, but I ain't able to make that stretch yet.
Now watch this. Really, I say the black woman is God on here because I know it bothers black men. And we still trying, and I'm honest, I'm really trying to figure out why do that bother black men? But I say black people are God. I believe we are God. God.
It doesn't bother me that when you say that, but I also want to be realistic and understand that black people are also human beings, and we have the capacity. Every one of us has the capacity for greatness or for evil. And I think that sometimes we kind of, especially within our society, there's some sort of correlation between women good and men bad. And there's some black women that will sell you out. Hell, it wasn't a black woman that stabbed Dr. King and almost killed him. But black women have the capacity to sell out just like black men have the capacity.
It was a black woman who was a nurse running the Tuskegee experiment, who was poisoning a bunch of black men with what's the disease name? I can't remember the disease. Syphilis. So when it's like I say, I venerate black women, good black women, but I ain't on Bakari level yet. I reached there yet.
I'm talking
but the thing about it is, Bawana, watch this, Bawana. The thing about it is, right, watch this. Why do I have to say good black women? Some things I need to see if people can differentiate for themselves. So I do admire the black woman. I love the black woman. I'm gonna say it again. It was a black woman when I was hungry that fed me, that went in there and cooked. It was a black woman when my papa passed away at 14. It was that same black woman that took care of me and looked out for me. It was black women. It's black women now. If shit hit the fan, I have more black women I can call who's ready to get suited and booted than black men.
You know what's funny about that statement, brother? So I sorry for interrupting. I'll let you go. You know what's funny about?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that, right? There's a lot of CEOs, these old white men. They could say to make the same claims you make because they used to be in the house, hired maids and things like that, where they raised the children. Some of them used to breastfeed the white children. Some of these CEOs right now up in these high offices, they can make the same exact claims that you're making, but do they see the black woman as God too? I just don't. Okay, all right, I understand where you go.
I don't care how they see them. I don't care how they see them. See, that's the thing. I'm not worried about how a white man see me or my woman. I'm not concerned about that. It's how I see me, how I see us, how I see black men, how I see black women. I ain't concerned about nobody else. So for me to say my woman is undesirable and don't nobody want her and she's not loyal to me, no, even if I felt that way, nobody would ever hear me say that on something where possibly millions of people can hear. See, look how the black man think about the black woman. Some stuff we gonna discuss amongst ourselves. No, ain't nobody going. That's why. See, watch this, right?
That's true.
So I'm gonna show you something, right? Huh?
Brother,
this black woman is basically saying the same thing I'm saying. She's saying in her experience, white men out here fucking her, and they still racist. So how is what I'm saying
that's good for? Look, what I'm saying is, I hope it continues to happen to her. I hope it continues to happen to her. But the black woman that ain't dealing, because what you're saying is the black woman that's not dealing with white men or another race, they're undesirable to them and they are waiting on them. That's why a lot of them are still single. That's what you said. I don't agree with that. And if I did, I ain't gonna step on my woman like that. And like I said, on something possibly millions of people can hear. Like, I'm gonna give you another example. When Koku said one time in the chat, he said Bakari should be getting paid by HBCU admissions. It's not whether I should get paid, but you know what? We sit on here and we say the same thing about black people that white people say. Then we have a problem when white people say it. We do their work for them. We do their work.
Yeah, I have to wholeheartedly, 100% agree with you again, my brother. I do say that the black woman is God. Why? Because I came through the womb of one. Even if I had to learn from her, even if the things I learned from her made me make bad decisions, because I was reflecting the decisions that she wanted me to do. Doesn't matter. She's still God. Dr. Ben said something a while back. He said, heaven is between a black woman's legs. And he wasn't saying that to be crude, because clearly heaven is where you come from. So of course, but I also say it's because of where I want to go to. And and I don't want to get crude, but every time you're laying down at night, that thing is heaven. So the thing is irrespective, black women are God. I mean, it just, if that's the womb that you come from, is that if you don't think she's God, then clearly you did not come from a black woman's womb, because you came from nothingness, and we're up here talking and saying and rationalizing and discussing something. So clearly we came to be from somebody that we look like. One of the things that Brother Bakari that you said is, what does that say for the women that says that the only reason that these black females are single is because they can't get the white males? That it's a double-edged sword. Not only does it how bad it speaks about women, but what does that say about us? Again, Brother Bakari, when you said I have to look at how I see it, and that's what I mean by introspection. You did the classic example of what many young brothers don't even get. I mean, I don't know if it's the social media, the hip hop. I don't know what happened in the last 40 years that really have gotten us the inability to have that unicorn called introspection, responsibility, the ability to say, hey, I have failed. I'm going to go ahead and conquer. I mean, anyone that's seen my latest workout video, I did things that many of you guys can't even touch. This is just what I'm saying to myself every day, saying, look, I have failed before. I'm going to be a man. Okay, that's why I don't call us men. I call us black males, because men own and control things. The thing is when you see these black females, and like Brother Bakari said, hey, I hope she continues on the path that she's at. She'll either learn, or she'll either learn the lessons to go ahead and for survival, or she's going to get consumed and be destroyed. One way or the other, she's going to have to learn. Whether it's getting with her quote unquote zaddy and being a little concubine or whatever, she's going to learn one way or the other. Hey, life's about learning. If you don't learn one thing every day, you failed. But I have to ask myself, when I see stuff like that, what does that say about brothers? What does that say about us? The fact that we even have to put statements into the world that are saying, it's because of possibly that the black female is not, getting, she's not the pick of the litter or whatnot, or not getting the pick of the litter. What does that really say about us? What does that say about, our standing? I walk these streets every day, and many of the folks I see look like us. In other words, I see a lot of brothers, median age of 55, 60, laying out on the street. I could go not even 2 blocks, and there's somebody sleeping under a tent that should be owning and controlling production. It should be, like be an example from the young, black school children that are walking up and down the street, not having to see him sleep in a tent. See, these things unconsciously are the things, because we don't have introspection as brothers. These are the things unconsciously that are going to impact us. In other words, affect us, effect us, and infect us. And then when you're infected with something, you die. I have to wholeheartedly say, Brother Bakari, you're on the right path. And the reason I say that is because you've done the thing that is damn near almost, it's rare as an alligator with fur. You've done what is called introspection. If we look at that and say, hey, that's a reflection of
MG2.
I hear you, Brother Bakari. What you did is what I say is whatever these women do is a reflection of what either I've done successful or what I haven't done successful in controlling not only myself, not only the race, but controlling this planet. I'll go ahead and pass the mic.
I want to go.
Let me ask a question before y'all go. Let me ask one question. I remember Koku said this. He asked me this because they know my goal. I'm gonna defend black folk, right? So Koku say, when is it okay for us to call out black people. So I'm gonna ask this question because black people always call out black people. When is it okay for a black person to say something good about black people? Because that's what get the most fight on these social media sites. If I say something good about black people, that's why I use the HBCUs for example. We'll sit here and talk about everybody's history. My good brother Black Steel even called Che Guerrero, whatever the hell his name is, the socialist dude. I think that was him. Well, some black person called him a hero. But go look and see how that person who they want to join rank with talked bad about black people. But if I say something good about a black woman, it's a problem. If I say something good about an HBCU, let's search for all the negative to say. So when is it okay to say something positive about black people? Because that's what's very seldom said on the social media sites, something positive. So when is it okay to say something positive without always getting pushback?
My problem with my older uncles on the panel tonight is y'all are in a different
anybody
generation.
talking? Is my phone messed up?
Yeah, you just can you hear us? 1 2 1 2. Can you hear us?
Yeah, Bakari, Buana is
yeah.
I just want to quickly say Buana, real quick.
Yeah, brother.
Real quick. When I say Bakari should get paid, I mean that sincerely. That's not a knock or a diss. I mean to say the work that you do, raising the awareness for HBCUs, they should kick something to you for that free press. I'm just saying. Buana, go ahead.
Yes, my problem with my older uncles on the panel tonight is they are from a different generation. And what I mean by that is you can't attribute titles to individuals who have not earned that. Now, if we are selling propaganda, I'm all for it. We could call black women God all day if we're doing the Garvey thing of propaganda. But you all are of a different generation. And the generation that y'all come from, women have earned the title of godhood. So I understand why y'all would feel that way. Because y'all have seen that the effort that women have put into the service of becoming on that kind of level. We are of a generation where we have women like this. This is a usual type of person we see in the streets of wherever in the Western world. You know, women exposing themselves, women doing all manner of things. So it becomes more difficult for men of our generation to look at women like this and attribute the title of godhood to individuals like these, because we say to ourselves, well, these people they are performing horticulture. They have not earned the title of godhood. What are you talking about? So there's a disconnect, I find. So to my older uncles on the panel, this is where we come to an impasse, and I disagree with this whole title of attributing titles to human beings, black women who have not earned these titles. That's my only problem and issue with it.
Well, we come from different generations, right? But your mama, but your mama black, and she fed you and took care of you, right?
Yeah, Brother Bakari, can I ask a question? What titles have black males earned? What titles have we earned as black males?
Why are we deflecting though? Could we talk?
No. I asked a question. That's a simple question coming from some.
The question is, why are we deflecting? Why are we talking about black men? We're talking about black women. Let's keep the focus.
Because the women is what put me here. I didn't come from a man's womb. I came from something that I definitely share.
You came from a man's nuts, though. You did come from his nuts.
Well, I did come from her womb, and she took care of me, and I fed from her breast, not my dad's. So I have to actually go ahead and explain that. Hey, wait a minute. What titles have black males earned? What do we own, control? Who do we conquer? What do we manufacture? Who do we compete with other than black women? Yeah, clearly. It's again the silence is.
That's such a strong.
No. I want to answer that. So you see how I switch. So the title. So the earned godhood for being a woman. Let me finish, Brother Bakari. So to earn a title of godhood for a woman, she merely has to give birth. But to earn a title of godhood for a man, he has to be able to be the controller of the universe, do this, that, and the third. But it's like biologically, anyone can have a child. So I mean, just because a woman can have a child, that makes her God. I don't know. I disagree with that with
Okay.
my old uncles. I disagree with that with my old uncles because she has to earn more than just doing something that comes natural to 99% of the women on the planet. That's not enough for me to earn the title of godhood.
Buana,
Okay, so
can I
watch
ask you
this here.
something?
Watch this for one. I'm sorry. Go
Is your
ahead.
mother God? Do you consider your mother God?
No, I don't consider my mother God. I love my mother and I respect my mother, but I believe and I honor her in every way. But for me, there has to be some level for me of perfection involved in that.
Let me tell you
Let's
something, Buana.
define what this God mean. What do you have to do to be God? Just define that to me, please, so I can have some
Can I
better
answer?
understanding.
Okay, watch this. Food, clothing, shelter. There when they need you. When you cry, wipe your tears. When you get a cut, they fix it. Band-Aid. There was always, matter of fact, fed you for 10 months while you was in her belly. They were still feeding you. But the question that came before that, you say, what title does a man get? I call black men God too. You heard me say 100 times, my daddy God, and I can name some of his friends because I saw black men do that work, right? So I saw black men literally get out here and do this work. But all those black men that did that work, they had a strong black woman with them. So that's why I said earlier, I talk about black men too. I call black men God. We ought to go, because the black man came, Marcus Garvey needed a woman with him. You understand? So I'm gonna name some people y'all know, because if I go to naming the people that I know personally, y'all would know them. Marcus Garvey had women with him. The man ain't gonna do what the man's supposed to do without the woman. The woman ain't gonna do what she's supposed to do without the man. But I'm still not gonna say the black woman single because she waiting on a white man or some other race to snatch her up. Because once again, the question that people didn't want to answer, what does that say about you? Why you are not desirable to your woman? Well, she would rather stay single and wait on somebody else to snatch them up than to be with you.
Well, first of all,
See,
Brother Bakari, you misrepresented what I said because I never said that. Number one, I don't know. You're creating quite a straw man argument right now because I never said that. Never. So I don't know why you're creating this narrative, but I didn't say that. What I said, and I'll say it again, we can really play back, is what I said is that black women are not as successful when they date outside their race because other races don't see them as desirable, not because of loyalty. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else other than that black women aren't desirable. I don't find, or this, And what it said is that, number one, can we please stop talking about black women as if they are children? Because they're not. They are adults. So it says nothing. If these black women want to go out their race, they want to swirl, and they're not able to swirl, if like what this black woman is saying, that she goes outside her race and these white men still racist, that has nothing to do with me. There's nothing to do with me. She has internalized white supremacists, anti-black views. If she wants to date outside her race and she's not successful at it, that's on her. That has nothing to do with me or any other black man. She needs to examine herself as an adult, as a fully thinking human being, and not a child. So this whole thing about what does it say about us? What about no? Why are we always gotta deflect when it comes to talking about black women? We gotta turn around and put it on black men as if black women aren't adults. Stop that.
okay, good. Let me ask you a question, Carl. Because Bawana said for you to get me. So let me ask you a question, right? I'm going to come on my computer if y'all hear some noise because my phone is about to die. But I'm going to ask you a question before it die, right? Oh, damn. I said I'm getting old. I said, and I almost lost my, I think I lost my,
Bakari's phone might have died. I think what was said was many black women, not all, but many, prefer and hoping that a white man will scoop them up. And I think it was also stated that it's really for lack of opportunity. And that's when I mentioned that I think that it is because of lack of opportunity. And I mentioned the dating apps. You'll see a lot of black women on dating apps who are straight up and down telling you up front, I date interracial. I'm more interested in a interracial relationship. And to which Oni said, well, a lot of these people on dating apps are losers. So when we find these black women, who are really interested in a white relationship, but because they can't access it or they don't have what it takes or whatever, however you want to look at it or state it, they get with black men. And Koku, I truly believe a lot of women hold resentments towards black men in those particular situations. So I'll clarify as to what was actually said and how the conversation went down. And I think we should speak to that, not so much to this idea, this notion that it was said that all black women are just sitting there waiting for a white guy. We were really talking about those that do have those inclinations, but who don't have the access for whatever the reasons might be. So I just wanted to clear that up for a second. Also, Brother Bakari is having some issues getting on, but let's welcome in our boy Azuli this week. Azuli, what say you? First of all, how are you this week? And what say you to everything you've heard?
Yo, I'm good. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Now what I want to say is that none of y'all gods. Gods can't be conquered by humans. So if y'all gods, y'all a sad case of gods because y'all on the bottom of every economic pole in the world as a group. Number two, my issue with Bakari saying, oh, this black woman is gay. Yo, just because you hold somebody accountable, that doesn't mean you're hating on them. Actually, that is love. When you pointing at somebody's F-ups, somebody's BS, that's you showing love to them. The whole shit is saying, oh, black woman is got like y'all seem to act like because she fed me, because she birthed me, she doesn't get the right to be criticized. Like brother Boana just said. She didn't get the choice. She's a woman. That's what her body's supposed to do. What are we talking about? I don't understand when all this shit, when black men are not God, black women are not God. Because for you to be God and for you to be at the bottom of everything like that, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But Azuli, you forgetting it's the black man's fault.
Hold up, because it was my turn. It was my turn. My phone messed up. I'm back.
Well, you can jump in. I'm not even done speaking.
Oh, I thought you're done. Carl started talking. Cause I'm gonna chew up what you saying too. Chew up and spit it out. Go ahead.
What I'm saying. I seem to have an echo. What I'm trying to say is this: how can you be a god and letting mere and the brother? I think brother MGK said they're not even humans. So how could you be being ruled by the so-called cave dwellers that you call them? But you God, the black man is God, the black woman is God, and y'all just getting played from left to right. Stop it. All I'm saying is that what I think what Carl is saying is that it's not that he's not saying that black women is undesirable to us. He's saying all that shit that they talking is because other races don't find them undesirable. That doesn't mean they're not desirable physically, but it's the whole package. When the black woman is when they say the black woman is the backbone of the community, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make no sense. So when you go trying to date all the black other races, he's not saying that the black woman is not desirable at all. What he's saying is that to other races, you're not desirable because maybe your personality is this, but they will have sex with you, just like that young lady said. What's the difference between what that young lady said and what Carl is saying? Their behavior is proving it to you that, yeah, we will have sex with you, but we might not marry you. So I don't understand what Brother Bakari is saying. It's like you're saying that, oh, you want them to be desirable to other races? That's like, are you looking for validation for black women from other races? At the end of the day, what I feel is that, yo, all that black men is God, king, queen. You're king and queen, and you at the bottom. Stop that bullshit. You ain't no queen, you ain't no queen. King, stop it. That's it.
Good. I'm glad he said that because I'm gonna go back to my question that people refuse to answer. I got two questions, right? One, I said, because first of all, I want to say, Koku, I didn't take that as a shot at me when you said what I said, when I repeated what you put in the chat about HBCUs. I didn't take that as a shot. I thought that was I actually enjoyed the fact that you said that. I didn't take that as a shot. I just wanted you to know that. I ain't take that as you taking a shot at me. But once again, why is it a problem to black people when a black person speak high of black people? I keep telling you, you gonna get a lot of pushback if you say something good about black people. But if you talk negative about black people, you're gonna get people up here like Azuli and tell you you ain't shit. Don't call yourself king. Don't call yourself queen. The same person that will call you the N-word in a heartbeat, because I've heard him say it several times. That's okay. But they have a problem when I speak high of black people, especially a black woman. So Carl said, because I don't know why they keep talking about her, because she speak for a very small minority of black women. And I would say those black women, I still say those black women that's single, they're single because they are loyal. So Carl, you said, do I see how some black women, I don't know why you keep using her, so I ain't gonna talk about her, how the black women has internalized racism, white supremacy, which is a term I really don't use, white supremacy, but for the sake of this conversation, the people that feel white people are supreme, I'm going to use it for you. Do you see how you have internalized white supremacy by repeating what they are saying on dating apps publicly to the whole world about your woman? Do we see how that could be internalized as so-called white supremacist rhetoric and we repeat it? Now, those two questions very seldom get answered, but I'm going to ask again, why is it a problem for a black person to defend and stand up for black people? Why do black people have a problem with that? And why we going to say they internalize racism, white supremacy, but if we don't see it as you internalizing racism, white supremacy by repeating what they said on a dating app, or how Azuli hasn't internalized racism, white supremacy, who just told you you ain't shit, you shouldn't call yourself king or queen or god or gods, but he is okay with calling you the N-word. Can anybody answer? Because last time I asked that question, didn't nobody answer. See what I do, and I would do this for a month. I would stay on those questions for a whole month till somebody finally answers. Is anybody going to answer?
I want to answer that. I want to answer that. What Azuli said is.
So you're doing like a boxer. You ain't answered. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I want to answer. Cut your mics because I hear an echo. Cut your mics. Everybody.
I just cut it. It won't let. Mute it again.
Okay, so my belief is this: criticism is not discounting the fact that we venerate and we respect women. Criticism, as Azuli said, sometimes could be love, because there's a such thing as constructive criticism. Now, I understand what MG2 say. MG2 or Brother Bakari, you say we're on a public platform where millions of people can hear our discussion. That's true. That's 100% true. But where else do we have the opportunity to speak freely? You know, and maybe we shouldn't talk on a public platform. Maybe we should talk on a mic, on a phone, you know, in our homes, you know, not a public platform. But this is the only time where people from all over the black world can get together and discuss our issues. So the fact that we are critical does not necessarily mean we discounting black women, because there are some things black women do on a daily basis that should be criticized. I can't watch black women participate in whore culture and ignore that and then say, well, we're going to still speak highly of this behavior. That's being dishonest. That's escapism. That's escapism. And I tell you all last week, you stay with the pain. Deal with the pain of the reality until we get to where we need to go, because it's a process in reaching this whole idea of godhood. This in my opinion. Okay? The second thing is to ask.
I'm sorry, I thought you was done.
You asked one other question. You asked another question.
But let me say about that. You did like a boxer. You never answer questions. You like you been hit side the head and got a concussion and don't understand the question. Because I understand you gave an answer, and your answer would make sense to the right question. But I'm gonna ask the question again. Why is it a problem? Why is it black people, especially me, get pushback if I speak high of black people on social media, especially of a black woman? And I said what Azuli said, and you went all, I thought you was gonna touch on it, but you didn't. He said, you ain't no God, you ain't no goddess, you ain't no king, you ain't no queen. He said, you ain't shit. And y'all have heard him call black people the N-word over and over and over. And I'm gonna ask the question again. Why is it people who insult and can belittle and berate black people publicly on these panels never get any pushback? But me, someone who speak up and say, you know what, I'm a defender of black people. Why is it the people who defend black people get so much pushback, get way more pushback than the black people that just take dumps on black people?
I get you. So if we being fair, cut your mics, everyone. If we being fair, I criticize, me and Erzuli have back and forth all the time. And he'll tell you this. Me and him have back and forth all the time. I don't agree with what Erzuli say, with everything he say. Some things Erzuli say is profound. Some things he says bitter nonsense. I can't get in a fight every time someone says something that I don't like. I'll be fighting especially a black person. I can't get in a fight with everything that I don't agree with, or what come out of a black person's mouth every day, every time. I'll be fighting all day. All of us, to some degree or another. MG2 talk about passive going along to get along. Passively going along to get along. To some degree, all of us are infected because we live in the Western world. You cannot live in a house that's on fire and come out of the house without smelling like smoke. So to some degree, all of us are infected. Now we struggle with this idea of looking at ourselves, selling. This is what Marcus Garvey was talking about, selling the Negro to himself. This is something that we fight with because we've been in a classroom for 400 years that been telling us niggas ain't shit. So the idea of saying that black men should look at ourselves in a godly fashion, that is for many of us, that is a stretch. That's something that we fight with. That's something that we contend with. We'll get there. I think we will eventually get there. You know what I mean? But I don't push back on you always. I have pause. Me personally, let me speak for myself. I speak positive. I try my best to speak positively and have a positive outlook with all of my brothers, despite the fact, even on political lines, on ideological lines, all y'all my brothers, and I love all of y'all. And I love Erzuli too. That's my brother. That's my good Haitian sensation brother. Even though sometimes I feel like sometimes he's wayward, but I feel like sometimes you wayward too, Brother Bakari. When you put women on the premise of godness, I feel like you are wayward with that because I feel like that title needs to be earned. You can't just give a person a title. You can't give them an award if they have not earned it. And I feel like you have to earn that first before I give you that title. That's the only pushback I give you. That's it.
Okay, I got you. So,
I'm just
going. Can I respond to Buana?
I was actually waiting for Zuli to respond, but it seems like he's not there.
So, no, I'm here. Yeah,
respond to that question Bakari asked.
I don't even know what Bakari is talking about. I never push him back. If he's
Let me ask the question again. Let me ask the question so
you don't have to ask the question again, man. I know what the fuck you said, bro.
You just said you don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Okay, Bakari, say it again. Because go ahead, talk. Oni 2.0. Go ahead.
You got it. You know, everybody gonna talk. Ain't nobody gonna answer. But go ahead. Ain't nobody gonna answer the question.
Okay,
Wanna try?
what I'm saying is that I don't have any issue of you giving proper talking positive about Black people or whatever. What I'm talking about is the gaslighting of talking about you are kings and queens. Stop it. What are you queens or king of? King of going to their school, king of going to their education, king of them providing you job, king of giving them your religion? I'm not saying that Black people haven't done some great stuff in the world. Yes, we have, individualistically. But as a group, we are at the bottom. Were you saying, oh, the Black woman is God? How? You're God and you're letting puny human destroy you? You're letting puny human make you exploit yourself? You're letting puny human make you fight with your other God that's your counterpart? How are you a God? You don't control any means of production, bro. How are you a God? Your continent is colonized. What are you talking about? I'm talking about reality. Kings or queen of what? Doesn't a king rule his own country? Doesn't a king or a queen rule their own continent? You don't rule shit. So what I'm saying is, individualistically, Black people have achieved. Okay, some Black people have achieved, but and what do you? I've never said for you when you, because you say, oh, I use the N word. I use the N word. So what? I use the N word, nigga. So you use the word king. You are still the king that you're talking about are still under the heel of the structure right now. So what are we talking about?
But
and I use the N word because I'm operating a different thing. I listen to people. There's the Negus, Naga, Niji. All that those words come together. The word nigga is the bastardized version of Negus, but you don't see it that way. And I take your criticism. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't use the N word or whatever. Yeah, I'm working on it. But for you to be like, oh, I'm hating on you, or we hating pushing back on you because you're giving. No, we're pushing back on you when you're simping for women and you simping for bullshit that the Black culture does. That's what we're pushing back on.
Can I respond to Urzuli? Man, I'm loving this conversation. Man, brothers, anything you guys say, whether I agree with it or not, I learn from it, and that's what I love. One thing I will never call anyone, and I try not to, is that N word. Because I know what usually comes after it has not, made us kings or queens, for lack of a better term. Clearly, either we're in a grave or something else has happened anytime we use that word. I've seen it for the last 60 years, but maybe I haven't been out enough. But the thing that really, like I said earlier, I will always say the Black woman is God, because God gives you life. Okay, clearly I didn't make myself, and if I did, hey, maybe I'm the first one to do it. Maybe I need to go to Dr. Fauci and give him my DNA or whatnot. But anyways, the thing is, basically, I will say we are gods if we want to be one. Okay, we are not acting like gods, and I always like Urzuli. Hey, I can't disagree. We're literally gods that are living the life of court jesters. Clearly we own, control, manufacture, protect, nurture, damn near nothing. So it's not like that. Clearly we know what the issue is. More importantly is, now that you know the hurdles, are you going to have introspection, Urzuli? Are you, Brother Bakari? Are you, Juan, going to have the introspection to say, hey, I know the hurdles, so therefore I know the solution? It's that simple. The thing is shoot, Urzuli, you don't beat up on Black folks nearly as much as I do. Okay, I am probably the king of making Black folks want to go ahead and cut my throat. But I love it. Every time I look at them, when I'm working out, or when I have to look over my shoulder because one's trying to rip me off, I know that that's a God somewhere, even though he's a court jester, especially in the society that he does or she does nothing in, that she does clearly has not participated in protecting a race. Yes, we have now become nothing more than fools of this planet. Okay, court jesters of this planet. Like I said, who do you guys get your water from? Who made your toilets? Where do you get your underwear? So clearly, Urzuli is definitely onto something. Okay, he doesn't have to be Columbo looking at trying to figure out the crime. He's already figured it out and then some, and the sentence. But I will not, as Brother Bakari, to make his case, I'm not going to sit there and excoriate my own, or I should even say to reinforce what Buana was saying. Sometimes you do that because you love and you want to see the best out of us. So therefore, hey, you may criticize. But in Brother Bakari's case, yes, he looks at us as, we are something. I'm not here, I may criticize whatever, but hey, I'm not an inward. I'm going to look at you as somebody that I look at myself. And that's that introspection that Brother Bakari brings out. Is that saying, I'm going to look at you as if I want to look at myself. I want to look at myself as a king. I want to look at myself as somebody that matters. Now, as Buana was saying, hey, we can criticize. I ain't going to give you titles that are not deserved. Yeah, a king acting as a court jester definitely does not deserve the title of a king, or a queen that's acting like a prostitute definitely does not earn the title of a queen. But yet, I don't have the ability to give birth. So therefore, like I said, as Dr. Ben said, heaven is between a black woman's legs. Whether you come through that womb or whether you like to do like I do and go back in it, and I'm not going to get crude. But the thing is clearly, I have to, like I said, I love these conversations because, again, I learn from them. The thing that I look at is I will always say a black woman is God. That's just me. Okay. And that's my perspective. You guys might have 10 different perspectives. Hey, that's what gets you through your day. Please keep it. Don't change it for no one. That's you. And I'm sure I can't even tell you what to do because you're doing what you got to do. But black woman is always going to be God to me. And brothers and sisters are always going to be king and queen only when we know that we don't want to be court jesters, but we still are kings and queens. We're just acting like fools. We're behaving. We let another species take over this planet, destroy us. Look, what language am I speaking? As Dr. Amos Wilson said, that's not my language. That's a language of devils, or as the Greeks said, a language of contradiction. So clearly, even the way that I think, the way that I dream, the language, the foods I eat, clearly is showing that I am definitely living the life of a court jester. But to reinforce Brother Bakari, every day that I wake up, I tell myself, and I do this, Buana, because it's something that if I can't go out of this world not doing. I go and I say, I'm at war. Whether it's, most of you guys know that I lost my eyesight. I don't care whether it's Peckerwood's walking me across the street or whoever else. They know that I'm at war, not because of my personal egos or not because of the revenge I seek. It's because I want to get kings and queens to stop acting like goddamn jesters, or we're all going to end up like fools in somebody else's court. And clearly that's the way it is. So I have to agree with basically what all you guys are saying is just my learning lesson in terms to form my own perspective. I'll pass the mic.
So watch this, right? I like watch this. When I said what I said, right? And I said, y'all heard of Zulu use the N-word. He used it. See, it's not me taking a shot. It's me showing. And still, once again, nobody answered the question. So so that means I just stick with what already in my head, that most black people is anti-black, right? Because the only question I said was, why is it a problem when black people is standing up for black people or saying something positive about black people on social media? Why do that get so much pushback? But when we talk negative, everybody, MG2 did, so I ain't including him. Everybody can think of a reason why we should continue to say all the negative. But nobody can answer why they give the person who speak positive of black people so much pushback. So yes, I call when I meet young, I call them young gods, my young brother, young kings and queens, young goddess, my young sister. And they use the N-word. And I explain to them that. But I'm going to say this. When we say the N-word, then we go to some people use the word, when we go to pseudo and say, well, it come from niggas. Niggas was actually royalty in Ethiopia. But those people were calling us to insult us. So you telling me white people was calling you a king or a queen or a god and goddess during slavery? No. We have accepted the fact that we are nothing but N-words. And I don't even use that word, but I'm saying we, because I don't separate myself from my people. We have accepted that fact. That's why we call each other that. It's a term of endearment. Unless I'm about to whoop you, I'm about to do something to you, then it's F that N word, and this to the N word, and that's to the N word. So the question again, so I would say again, I think it's a lot of, as Black Steel put it, that woman, she have accepted, she believe in the whites, she have injected herself into
internalized anti-blackness.
And everybody every time I say something positive about something black, got so much pushback. That means y'all have internalized the same thing she's internalized, but you don't want to say it. Because if you listen to what you say and listen to the conversation, you know what we be saying? Like, damn, maybe I did. But see, it's hard to point the finger at us. That's why I say, black men, let's look in the mirror. Because it's hard to point the finger at yourself. MG2 asked a question. He said, where do you get your underwear? Go on champboxers.com. You want some black owned, black made, and black sold underwear? Go to champboxer.com. I just told y'all where you can get some black underwear. So now you can stop saying, well, black people don't own nothing, we don't make nothing. I just told you can get some black underwear. I just told you that. So we ain't got to say that no more. So now we ain't got to say, you ain't shit. You ain't no God. See how easy that can come out your mouth. You ain't no God. You ain't no goddess. You ain't no king. You ain't no queen. You ain't shit. Those were the words that came out the mouth. But nobody give that pushback. But when I say a black woman is God, or if I say a black man is God, I get so much pushback. But somebody can tell you you ain't shit. Don't get no pushback. So we have accepted the fact that you ain't shit. That's how I see you all, not me. Because I get pushback on that. Y'all have accepted the fact that you ain't shit. Because that didn't get no pushback. Nobody said nothing when Azuli said, y'all ain't shit. You ain't, exact words, you ain't no God, you ain't no goddess, you ain't no king, you ain't no queen, you ain't shit. That was his words. Why didn't that get any pushback? But me saying
stop acting like a Democrat, bro.
But me saying a black woman, is God.
Because most people know what I meant.
Watch this. But me saying a black woman is God, a black man who's raising a black daughter. Yes, I'm gonna tell my daughter she's a goddess. I'm gonna tell my daughter she's a queen. I'm gonna tell my daughter, if you hear somebody like a Zuli tell you you ain't shit, you tell him to go to hell and get the farthest away from him as possible. So I'm gonna say it again. Why don't that get any pushback? Y'all ain't gonna answer. So have y'all accepted the fact that y'all ain't shit?
Can I answer the question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know if you got your speaker on, Bakari. Hit mute. I got a bad echo. Okay. So first of all, Buana answered the question. Maybe he didn't give the answer that you would consider to be satisfactory. I'm going to answer the question as best I can. So first of all, the answer is internalized anti-blackness. We live in an anti-black society. We're basically born into it. So it's normal and it's natural, unfortunately, to say things about black people that are, insulting and hating. But I'm gonna say this because it's so funny how we've gotten so far away from this topic. And this black woman whose picture is on the screen, the conversation was about her and about how she is complaining about white men being racist and still want to date black women. So we've gotten from now, you can't say negative. If you say something negative, there's no pushback. We need to say negative stuff about this wench on screen. All right, let's keep the focus. This woman needs to have negative things talked about. You cannot sit up here as a black woman and lament that white men, why are you still being racist towards us and you're dating us and not expect pushback? So the pushback you're hearing is focused on the divest, the swirl, the black women in luxury women. That's what the focus is. We're not talking about black women, black people in general. I don't know about nobody else, but the focus is really on this broad right here and the broads who think like her. That is not indicative of every black woman. I don't believe, black women, black men. You want to call yourself a god, you want to say positive things to empower yourself, I support that wholeheartedly. Lord knows we hear enough bad stuff about us. We can't even go in a grocery store. We can't even go pick up some stuff from Dollar General without getting gunned down. So we have to speak life into each other. I don't agree with, telling black people they're not shit. They haven't done this. We haven't done that. If you're going to, what did Kwame Ture say? I wish Oni was here. You could hear me quote a black person. All right. If you make an analysis of an oppressed people and you leave out the oppressor, you will come to an incorrect conclusion because you will blame the oppressed for all of their problems. You can't say black people this, black people that, and not include and not do a full understanding of the way we got into this position in the first place. We can't say black people don't own and control stuff and then turn around and look and see when black people did build cities, they did, build businesses. These businesses were burned, were destroyed, were bombed from airplanes. So we can't say, oh, black people, you're not doing this without understanding why we're not doing this. Is it because we're just lazy? Is it because we're just sorry? Or because we're being targeted? Or because we have been designated as a permanent underclass, not just in the United States, in the world. And we have to overcome that. And we're not doing that sufficiently. We're not organizing it. It's not our fault that we're in this position, but it is our responsibility to change this around. So to answer your question, we deal with this internalized anti-blackness on a regular basis. This stuff, I mean, from even within the womb, black children get, the worst health care. We just heard a story about a black woman giving birth to a child that got decapitated, and it was a black doctor that delivered the damn baby. So it's not enough to say, well, we're in the condition that we're in without putting a proper analysis on that. So that's my answer to your question. We live in an anti-black society. So yeah, it's gonna seem normal and common to say negative things about black people, but we have to unlearn that. But I don't think that has anything to do with the topic on hand. It's getting late. It's gonna be my last thing. I know I gotta go.
I want to say this real quick. At the end of the day, the reality is you're not a queen, you're not a king. And you're not a god or you're not a goddess. You're not behaving like a god or a goddess. You don't control your own image. Another group of people control your own image. You know what I say? I would say Jean-Jacques Dessalines is godlike. Shahrazad Ali is queen-like. Toussaint Louverture is godlike. Malcolm X, Garvey, Kwame Ture, Patrice Lumumba, what's the guy named Sankara. But at the same time, I could say this: I could criticize black people when they do some F shit. So for you to, you said you don't get, because I say black people, y'all ain't shit. Okay, I might have used the word y'all ain't shit, but I'm not saying black people ain't shit, like they stupid, they think I'm saying the way we are acting as a whole ain't shit. So if you want to say I'm saying black people individualistically, that's not what I'm saying. But I know you know what I'm saying. But you want to hop onto it like a female, like a simp, and to go like, oh, he's saying black people ain't shit. No. Bro, we are all living under the control of the man that's controlling the system. Your language is not yours. Your religion is not yours. Your economy is not yours. You can't get up and say, I'm going to go to Africa right now without paying the cost to go over there. Your food is not yours. The people who see you, the medical doctors, are not even operating on an African body system. Most of black people in America are dying of heart disease or diabetes, bro. And you tell me you're a king and a queen? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Stop the bullshit.
For time's sake, since we're over time, let me get your final thoughts on this prompt. Just keep it brief for me. We can always bring this type of prompt back. So keep it brief for me. Anyone who wants to add any last words on this prompt, go ahead, and then we'll close out with final shout-outs.
Real quick.
Yes.
I have to say I understand where Erzuli's coming from, yet I tend to take another path because, I do have the same, I don't know if it comes from frustration or if it comes from realization, but I do have to agree with Brother Bakari wholeheartedly. And I have to agree with Black Steel was talking earlier in terms of how the young lady was basically, this isn't, I won't say it's an isolated case, but she definitely was not talking to us. She's talking to someone who competes against us, i.e. white males, that clearly she has an affinity for. To wrap it up, all I could say, and most of you brothers are younger than me, so I'm gonna just put it this way. I know that we have failed, okay? And I'm talking most in particular black males. We have failed, bottom line, because somebody else controls all our aspect of our being. All I could say is if you can recognize, because clearly if you're not conquering this world, we don't have our own nukes. Of course, we should all have nukes. We should all, own airlines. That's just who we are. That's what we have the capability, clearly, if we want it. But all I have to do is just say, if you're not waking up every day and recognizing that if we aren't shit, if we're not doing that, or what Black Steel was saying, of course, we're not looking at the causation, but we're looking at the effect, the stores that have been burned down and this and that and the other. If you're only looking at the effect, I can understand. But all I'm saying, if you're not waking up every day and trying to either reverse it or trying to, and I don't care, and I'm not talking through rhetoric. I'm not talking through abstract, discussions. I'm talking about getting out there and using your own two hands to do it. Whether you got to walk into a store and kill 4 crackers, whatever it is. If you're not out there to go ahead and try to reverse the effects so we can take over this planet, I'm not talking about getting along. I don't give a rat's ass about so-called relationships or who's feminist and who's swirling. That's like I said, it's above my pay grade. I want to take over this planet. I want this back in the hands of those that I think might be able to manage it a lot better than these Neanderthals that have literally molested everything from the atom to outer space, weather, animals, and everything in between. If we're not thinking, even individuals, when you wake up, everything that you do, whether it's taking a piss, working, going to the store, or working out, I don't care what it is. If you're not actively trying to reverse it so we can have this planet to ourselves, then clearly, irrespective and with all due respect, whatever we've been saying, all of us tonight, don't mean shit. Good day, brothers. Always love listening to you guys.
Thank you, MG, too. Anyone else want to add last thoughts here? I think Bakari
wants to yes.
Yeah, let me give my last thoughts right quick. Y'all ain't shit, according to Azuli. But Afro Native will put, he say both sides, he or she, I can't remember. Both sides are too extreme. One is too feel good, the other is too negative. We need balance. Well, the thing about it is, I don't think it's enough feel good. It ain't nearly too much feel good because everything is negative. That's why they have a problem when I say something that feel good. If I say I'm going to say this to feel good, like I said, I'm going to tell my daughter she's a queen. Erzuli, because she ain't no queen. He thought I didn't hear it. I'm going to tell my daughter she's a queen. You don't know who my daughter is. So when I say I'm going to teach my daughter she's a queen, Erzuli, that's just something good for you to say, you know what? I'm going to just accept that because you have no idea who my daughter is. But we so used to beating up black people that they have a problem when a black person ain't beating up black people. And the reason I'm on the other side 98.75% of the time is because 98.75% of the time it's black people sitting on here thinking of something negative to say about black people. I had to do shows on my channel defending the civil rights era because all people do is talk negative about them. Well, they were civil rights. That had nothing to do with nothing but access to white sex. They have taken dumps on Martin Luther King. You got they just take dumps on Malcolm X. God forbid if I mention an HBCU. They ain't got to know nothing about it. It's just black people. They speak out of ignorance and self-hate. Ignorance and self-hate. That's what they speak out of when you mention something black. So yes, I'm going to be that 1.25% of positive. Do I ever say anything that's negative? Yeah, I call some black folks Herschel Walkers. Well, some people don't know who that is. I call some black folk coons because they do stuff that I don't agree with. But it ain't my goal to sit, watch this. And one more example, then I'm gonna go. When Sha'Carri Richardson went through her episode after her mama passed and failed in the Olympics, y'all saw memes everywhere. Y'all say memes, I say memes. Everywhere talking about how she's nothing and how sorry, am I lying? And just laughing at it every time she lost when she was going through her struggles, right or wrong. How many of those same channels in those same memes, my words, memes, have you seen talk about Sha'Carri Richardson greatness, how she have turned around, how when she get to talk, all she gonna speak up for black folks. When she avoided those white reporters because of how they tried to treat her and only spoke to the black reporters until she had to go sit at the podium. So then other people get a chance to other black people get a chance to ask her questions. But ain't nobody gonna talk about that. But we gonna always focus on the negative. They're gonna always focus on the negative. That's what we do. And everything about black people ain't negative. Let me bring up hip hop. I can get somebody from Jamaica, from the United States, from anywhere, and we're gonna argue about who created hip hop for the next 6 hours. Without just saying, you know what, all that shit come from Africa, the beat, our rhythm, everything, it just come from black people. But we got to argue, berate, and belittle one another so I can big myself up. So now it has gotten to the point to the black man gonna argue and put down the black woman because that's lifting him up. He's lifting himself up by standing on his woman. But if we stand next to our women, and if our women stop putting down the black man, trying to stand up on the black man, and decide we gonna stand to, then we can stand up together and do what we're supposed to do. This skank right here, she don't even matter. I done met black women that didn't want to say nothing to a black man, but this beautiful woman from Ghana, oh my gosh, she wouldn't talk to a black man for nothing, not even me. In my conversation, nice. All she wanted was somebody white. And I noticed that, oh well, she don't matter to me. She don't matter. And when they get come upness, they can't come back to me. We have to learn to let them go. See, look what Afro Native Well put in there about HBC. I told you all I got to do is mention it. Everybody gonna find something negative to say. Can we at least hold them accountable? They are not largely producing entrepreneurs. They are school to court plantation pipeline. How many people do you know graduated from an HBCU? That's the first question. That's all I got to do is mention something black. Do you get what I'm saying now? All I got to do is mention it. Somebody is gonna find something negative from it. All I got to do is mention something black. So I asked the question, why is it when I say something positive about black, I get so much pushback? But you can sit here and y'all can listen to Azuli tell y'all ain't shit, have the audacity to tell me your daughter ain't no queen. Don't nobody say nothing. But I'm gonna get all the pushback. But guess what? I'm an old elephant. I got thick skin. I'm built for it. Azuli gonna run again like he always run. On that, thank you for letting me speak on your panel, Coco.
I appreciate you, Bakari. Thank you.
And peace to the whole panel and the chat.
Yes, sir. And thank you to Black Steel. I know Black Steel has to go, but thank you for coming through tonight. Thanks to MG2 who was here as well. Let's have from Buana and then Ozuli.
Yeah, y'all got my brother Vex tonight. Brother Bakari, we still love you, brother. We still love you. Listen, I would say this. I think that both Bakari and Ozuli is right. And we had this discussion before. I do not want to live in the world of fantasy. I want to live in the world of reality. Okay? Where we are right now. Or do I like when Ozuli say things in the way he say it? I don't like it whatsoever. But is he wrong in what he's saying when he states what he says? When he says that we are in the position where we are right now, he is not wrong. He is not wrong. And I don't want us to go off into escapism without dealing with the reality of where we are. I don't like it. You know what I mean? That's his trump card he's pulled. No problem. Is he wrong? He is not wrong. However, Brother Bakari ain't wrong either. Brother Bakari claims is aspirational. Brother Bakari claim is where we need to be. When he say that we are God, it's nothing wrong with Brother Bakari saying that either. Why? Because the people who control this world, before they ever get to the action part of what they did, they had a belief. They had a belief that they was dominant. They had a belief that they was the best of the best. Even in them creating these ridiculous sciences to back up the belief. They had a belief in these things. Marcus Garvey said, in a race of life, if you believe you're going to win, rather than you believe you ain't going to win, you already done win. You have to believe that you could come and accomplish what you will. Black person, people on this planet, under the sound of my voice, you have to have that belief. And then afterwards, the actions back that up. The actions back that up. So I don't discount what Ozuli said, and I don't discount what Brother Bakari is saying because it's an aspirational thing. However, it is a process to achieve these things. You don't just give these things, these titles or attributes to people who have not gone through the process. And the process is what I feel sometimes is in which we ignore. We have to go through the process to get to the position of godhood. And sometimes it's going to take criticism or critical analysis of where we are. And if Ozuli is given an analysis on where we are, I am not going to discount him because I don't like his rhetoric and how he says it. I'm going to look at it and I can analyze it and I can say to myself, how can I become better? This is what Sha'Carri Richardson did. You just claim her. She looked at herself and she said, maybe the things that I'm doing is not getting me to where I need to be. Maybe I need to change some things about myself to get to where I need to be. And she made an adjustment. So if this brother has the wherewithal to tell us where we are critically, to make us look at ourselves and say, this is who we are right now, this is enough to make us give an internal introspective look at ourselves and say, we need to make an adjustment to get to the level of godhood. And I do not want to falsely attribute to us, whether we call it ourselves, whatever we want to call ourselves, without going through the process of getting there. And that takes time. That takes time to get there. And that takes direction and that takes focus. So this is the reason I don't lambaste Brother Bakari. I think that what he has to say is good, is good. It's good to say so. It's aspirational to want to reach that point, but I would not ignore the reality of where we are right now. For the sake of just feeling good. That is a lie. That's pseudoism, and I'm not playing into that. So I think that these things need to be coupled together. What Ozuli has to say and what Brother Bakari has to say to eventually get to that point. So I would just leave it there for your consideration. I appreciate the panel. I appreciate the conversation tonight. It's an honest conversation. Sometimes you get vexed, you know what I mean? But no love lost. Sometimes you got to say things, but we have to be honest with one another. As men, we should carry broad shoulders. We should have broad enough shoulders to be able to speak honestly and to speak the truth, even though it's uncomfortable. So I appreciate the uncomfortable dialogue, and let's just get together and do what we need to do and go through the hard process, the pain reaching what Brother Bakari say is godliness. You know what I mean? To get to that level. So I appreciate all the brothers who contributed tonight, and I'll leave it right there.
Zuliism?
Yeah, I want to say this. The Lovings case. A black woman went to the Supreme Court with her white man to force interracial marriage. That's the black God you're talking about. That's the goddess you're talking about. But okay. Sha'Carri Richardson. Yes, she might be she's a phenomenal athlete, but she did something wrong. She was smoking freaking weed and she got caught. You were saying it's okay for her to smoke weed and to let her be in the Olympics. What I was saying is that you broke the rules. It doesn't matter if in America you smoke weed. The Olympics doesn't allow it. So you should be banned and suspended. Not saying Sha'Carri Richardson is not a superb athlete or whatever. She did great. She did great this past the world things right now. But I'm glad you mentioned Sha'Carri Richardson because that's what you do. I don't. You never held Sha'Carri Richardson accountable for her BS that she did. So why her mother passed away? If her mother passed away and the pain is too harsh and she had to smoke weed, don't go in the Olympics. The Olympics know that you smoke weed, there was weed in your system, and you guys, and y'all want to, Michael Phelps got caught, got caught in his system, got suspended for a whole 6 months or something, and lost mad endorsements. Harsher than what they give to Sha'Carri Richardson. Okay? I'm saying hold black people accountable when they do some F shit. Second, we said not lifting up black people. When I say black people, we ain't shit, I'm not talking about individually. Every day there's a black engineer born. Every day a black female becomes a doctor or a lawyer or a computer science major. Just like every day a black boy becomes a doctor or a lawyer, a police officer, and all of that. But as a group, we are not where we're supposed to be. And I'm not going to lie to people and say that we are God. Bro, you didn't even get to choose your own name. The name that you have, that we have, is name that we chose from those people that we claim we are oppressing us. You said, oh, your daughter's not a queen. I'm not a king, per se. Your daughter's not a queen. You want to lie to her and tell her she's a queen? But the world will tell her.
Speak on you. Don't speak on you. Don't speak on my daughter. Speak on you. Speak on you. Don't speak on. Don't. Yeah. No, I said because that's what I said because that's what I teach my daughter. Speak on you. Don't speak on my daughter because what I teach my daughter, I'm gonna continue to teach her. Don't speak on her because you don't know nothing about her with your bitch ass.
You could teach her all that lie that you want
with your bitch ass, a fucking coon.
Yeah,
you a coon.
Exactly. Okay.
You a coon.
Okay. And
a coon with a capital K.
Okay. Are you done? So I say this to say, I hope I'm not saying that when I say we ain't shit, I'm not saying that we have with nothing. I'm just saying that we're not, maybe I'm trying to say that we're not living up to the potential that we're supposed to be living up to. Maybe that's the case. So at the end of the day, that young lady right there on the video, we should not be backing her up. When black people do certain stuff that's detrimental to the society or to the community, we don't give them a pass. You don't get a pass. You're gonna be held accountable, because holding somebody accountable for something that they did or for something that they're acting right is love. So if you want to say I hate black people, I did it, that's on you. That's how you look at it. And at the end of the day, maybe we have godlike abilities, but we're not implementing them. So that's all I have to say.
And once again, ain't nobody gonna ever correct bullshit when they say something about black folk. But y'all do try to correct when somebody say something positive. I don't get that. I don't get that. I said I teach my daughter she's a queen. He had in there, don't you lie to her, she's no queen. Nobody tell him. Don't nobody tell him, yo, dude, don't you tell that man what to tell his daughter. Yo, don't nobody correct that. So, Moana, you can't agree with me and him. It's impossible.
She's not a
It's
queen.
impossible.
Because
this dude is
a king.
This dude is a coon. This dude here's an well, you know, and then you're gonna say Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps got more suspended. No, actually, what they did was they talked about the white girl that got caught smoking weed from Russia that was able to participate in the Olympics. And then she want to insult the woman, but she's going through something with her mama. But y'all ain't gonna say nothing about that. I don't get it. Maybe y'all have accepted the fact that y'all ain't shit because he told y'all that. Because he said it. Then try to correct it. Y'all let him dress up something. Y'all try to let him sprinkle sugar on Dookie and let him get away with it. He sprinkled sugar on Dookie. He tried to take back what he said, sprinkle sugar on Dookie.
I'm not taking nothing back what I said.
He sprinkled sugar on Dookie and don't nobody say nothing. Nobody. But whenever I say something positive, it's gonna. All I did was mention HBCU. Somebody came in the chat and after we done straighten it out. All I did was mention HBCU. Somebody come in the chat. Well, you do have to hold them accountable for this. Like, okay, I got you. I never said don't hold them accountable. But all I do is mention something positive about black. That's what I'm talking about. All you got to do is mention a positive about black. People like Azuli can come on here and get away with bullshit and tell y'all ain't shit and don't nobody say nothing. I don't get it.
That's a lot of female talk.
I don't get it.
Stop simping.
I don't get it.
Let me jump in there. I see Afro Native. Someone has the mic. Afro Native. Me, that's Bakari. Me moderating the discussion, and you know that goes to my response to Bakari. And I know Bakari is not being, at least I don't think he's being direct to anyone when he says why y'all ain't doing this, that, and the other. But the reason why I'm letting the conversation go is because for me personally, in this thing that we're all here doing on a Saturday night, it's about diversity of speech and thought. And so I'm going to let Bakari say what he said. I'm going to let Erzuli say what he said. I won't agree with certain things, but I'm going to let the conversation, right, take its form by the participants in it who have a portion, so to speak, in the conversation. I'm just a moderator. I'm going to let some of that run on for a little bit. Let them work that out, right? But at the end of the day, the stance of me, the host of the show, is that everyone gets to say, if you're taking up for black folks all the time, you get your chance to say what you got to say. If you're not taking up, you get a chance to say what you got to say. This particular thing about Bakari's daughter, I prefer, and I understand Zoe's going to say Bakari brought her up, I prefer y'all don't talk about his daughter. She's not a part of the conversation.
First of all, Koku, not to interrupt you, bro, I'm not talking about somebody's daughter. The person say her daughter's a queen, his daughter's not a queen. Just like he's not a king.
Dude, you don't know nothing about my daughter. You don't know nothing about my daughter. And Koku, it wasn't the point. I ain't trying to get you to speak up for me because Azuli ain't shit. He didn't already let you know that. So I know I can handle people that ain't shit because he ain't shit. He said it. What I'm saying is how negative stuff like that can always come out and nobody ever say nothing. It's like sometimes I feel like, not just here, even sometimes when I'm in the streets and I'm talking in front of Walmart and again, I'm the only person who gonna stand on something positive for black. Why does it always have to be the negative? Don't know, like Buwana say, I agree with both. You can't. Either you agree with the positive or you agree with the negative. It's okay if you disagree with me. But I'm telling you, it seems, don't care what show we're doing, and it's about black people. It's always about, damn, everybody got something negative to say. Ain't nobody got nothing good to say. Nobody. Okay, watch this. When I did a show talking about black restaurants, Koku came on. Koku said something positive. Then the next two people came on. Well, why they so damn high? Why are they doing like, God damn, so, okay, we can just, but right now we are talking about the quality of the food and we're talking about this. Even me and Koku have discussed on the panel where they can lower their prices or they can create a way to give you a $5 plate or a $6 plate. So you understand, you remember that conversation, Koku? So we don't have to spend $20, $30 every time because sometimes we just trying to get something quick to go. But then everybody else came on the panel, but Wanda didn't come up. Forecasting, let me see, Shaka Zulu, it was too much. Everything just came out negative about them. Everything, and that's all I'm saying. It seems like sometimes only thing I expect, I guess, not want, I guess I should stop expecting, like black people should think better of themselves. And for a grown man to sit here and tell me, stop lying to your daughter. Now, at that point, me and my whole energy changed. Because if I was next to him, I would have seen if he know how to box. Your daughter ain't no queen. I'm just being honest with you. I say I teach my daughter that. That ain't nothing for him to speak on what I teach my daughter. I'm just saying the positive in which I put into my children. I've been telling my son he's a lawyer since he was 6 years old because that's what he's going to be. And he's in school now. You're an attorney. You're an attorney. You're the best attorney in the world. I'm not supposed to speak. I'm just supposed to. You know what? Y'all should listen to Azuli. Y'all really ain't shit.
So your daughter's going to be a queen?
Y'all really ain't shit. I'm really not talking. I ain't holding no conversation with you right now.
No,
because y'all really ain't. Y'all, so what? This is what we should tell the black children. Y'all really ain't shit. You ain't no king, no queen, no god, no goddess. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't nothing but some N-words. Is that what we should teach our children? I'm just asking.
Bakari, let me introduce confidence. Confidence is really about the show, but what are your thoughts on this last topic here?
Man, I just came in. I don't see the prompt anymore. I'm sorry, I was just listening. But I'm not sure what the prompt is. Can you run it back for me? Thanks for having me on the panel.
Yeah, he ain't know the prompt is, so I want to go because I came back.
Hold up, Buana. Let me just go real quick. The man who's saying we are gods, we are queens, we are kings and queens just said he will punch me because I said his daughter is not a queen. The same man that's talking all this shit is advocating violence against another black king. All right, bro, stop it.
No, I didn't call you a king. I said you a coon. I used the K, but I said a coon is what I said. I didn't say you a king. I called Buana king, Koku. I called MG2. I called you a coon.
I'm not a king. I know I'm not a king.
I know you're a coon.
I know your daughter's not a queen either. Shut up.
You're a coon.
Buana, go ahead.
Yes. So I want to play mediator, but I want the brothers to hear me just hear me for a minute, just even if it's a second. That's a second between the issues the brother facing. Brother Bakari say black people don't talk positively about one another. And I understand that because he is absolutely right. This YouTube business is sometimes when black people get together, it could be a force for negativity. And that is a fact. That is a fact. And Brother Bakari, as a righteous dude and right thinking man, he want to hear more positivity. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But, and hear me when I say this, please, Brother Bakari, sometimes, just understand that we are collectively, globally, in a situation where we have been infected. Look at it like that. We have been infected with a particular mindset that we struggle with on a daily basis. And sometimes it's difficult for us to look at ourselves in the perspective that you do. That maybe you're ahead of the curve, maybe you're a little bit ahead of the curve. Give the other brothers who have not reached there yet some leeway to get there. I understand where you are because it's like you have a right mind. It's like, why do you all think this way? But give the brothers who have not reached there some leeway to get there. On the other side of that perspective, what I would say too is this. If I have ADHD, they used to tell me I had ADHD in school, They used to tell me that. ADHD, right? I don't want to ignore the fact that I have ADHD. I want to be able to work through my ADHD to be able to reach a point where I could compete with the rest of the students in the class. I don't want somebody to tell me, oh, you are A student when I ain't there yet. You know what I mean? Give me the ability to work to the point to where I could get to be an A student and compete with the rest of the people in the classroom. That's all I'm saying. Don't ignore my ADHD. Acknowledge, well, he is a king, but I have to work with him to be able to compete on a level of the rest of the students in the classroom. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying as a mediator and it to be a go-between between the two different positions. That's all I'm saying. Yes, we are kings. Yes, we have the ability to be gods. You know what I mean? But give us some leeway to get there. Maybe your life experience already and have you there already. And it's good that you tell your daughter to give her the ideas and put in her mindset, planting the seeds, good seeds, that she is a queen, that she is a goddess and all these things. Like maybe many of us have not gotten that. You know what I mean? But we have to have the leeway to get there. And I think that through time, give your brother Azuli the leeway that you want others to have. Give him the leeway because he may eventually get to the point where he become a discipline. I waken on him. You know what I mean? But just meet us where we are until we get there. That's all I gotta say. I'm out. It's great having a conversation. I'll just sit back and listen to what the brothers gotta discuss. And I'm out. A good night, brothers. It's 12 o'clock. I gotta go.
One thing I'm gonna say, all that queens and king business is Eurocentric minded shit. I want to be a queen, I want to be a king. Yo, I would never be at his level. I don't want to be at his level. Like he said, I'm a coon. I don't want to be at that level. I want to be in the level of reality. Thank you. Yo, Goku, dope conversation. Thank you. I always appreciate it. Good night, bro.
Appreciate you. Confidence, you wanted to comment now?
Yeah, I see the how much does the perception of criminality impact how African people are treated?
No, that's not it at all. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Confidence, we're gonna have to have one next week because we're at the end of the show. We had a long discussion here.
Okay.
All right. Bakari, are you still there? Okay, maybe Bakari left too. I put the wrong.
No, I'm still here. I'm gonna tell you something. It's 12 now. I was gonna go on. I still might go on by one or two. Zuli scared to come to my panel. And guess what? I ain't gonna apologize for nothing I said. I guarantee you that. Not to him anyway. But but I might just have to ask that question. And that's it. It was just a question. I do want to know, why is it hard for us to accept anything? Why is it hard for us to accept positivity? If we don't teach our kids, if we don't teach our children something positive, and Trigger Happy 262, put it in the chat. He get it. I can't remember. They get it. You have to teach. I teach my children something positive. I want my children to grow and know there's something more than an N word. You understand what I'm saying? That's not you. Is they gonna get out here in the world and get caught up doing something? Some of this stuff in the world might get to them. Yes, it got to me when I was younger. You understand? We all go through, but I was always, you know what? I talk positive. Plus, I'm gonna tell you one more thing before I go. Let me tell you another reason I take up for Black women all the time, not just because I love them and adore them and I put them on a pedestal. Not her. Not the one on the screen right here. But let me tell you why. I'm going to explain to you something, right? I told you I got old parents, right?
Yeah.
I told you my granddad, my grandparents was born at the end of Reconstruction. You understand what I'm saying? Right after that, for real. And I'm 51. I got old parents. My dad was the youngest of seven, born in 1920. My whole life, I was raised. You don't talk negative and treat black women bad because of how they have been treated by the world. They have been told, and this coming from people who was born in, like I said, my dad was born in 1920. He was the youngest of 7, so you know how old my grandparents were, right? So this coming from people who we talk about is bad now, but this coming from people who saw lynchings and saw even me, man. I ain't seen a lynching, but the Klan came and burned a cross in my yard. It was like 2 years before I was born, 3 years, 69. So the stuff I say is a lot of my life experiences. And when KW Don mentioned the book, I ain't knocking nobody for reading a book, but I was raised with the book, if that makes sense. I was raised with people that actually literally did all of this work for real, traveled the country, friends with Medgar Evers, Fannie Lou Hamer, you know, march with Dr. King, and I ain't just talking about just saying I'm out here. So when I take up, because this is what, like, man, y'all, my dad, you don't know how black women was treated. Y'all don't know how black women was just always called ugly, and always they were the worst thing on earth in this country. So I couldn't and I can't, because I see it's still that way. Now they fighting back, but they're fighting us. So I can mention their negative thing, but I speak high of black men too. I call us a king. I know the things that we can do. It ain't just me taking up for the woman. I take up for black people because I know we are better than a lot of the things that we do. We are better than that, and you know it too. So I'm going to speak the positive, especially into our youth. That's my take on that. Thank you for letting me speak, man. What's going on, confidence?
Peace. I'm trying to get with you, bro. You having a show after?
Say it again.
You having a show after? I'm trying to get with you.
Yeah, if I do, it's gonna be probably about. She's gonna be closer to 1 o'clock, and I know everybody gonna be in the bed.
I just woke up.
You just woke up. Yeah, and that's all in Koku, that's all I'm asking. So I will apologize to my boy, to my homie, to my friend, my brother, Bawana, and to Carl if they felt I said anything disrespectful to them. And I would apologize to you if you felt I said anything disrespectful to you and anybody else in the chat. But I ain't gonna apologize to Azuli. But I will apologize to y'all because I was not trying to disrespect y'all in no way, shape, or form.
No, I didn't take it that way.
I don't want. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I really wasn't even trying to I wasn't trying to disrespect the Zuli. And she said, "Your daughter ain't no queen, dude. Don't do that. I'm just telling you what I teach my daughter. Stop lying to her. She ain't no queen." Like, whoa. And I wouldn't, like I said, I wasn't expecting you to speak up for me. I'm just saying, speak. We have to speak against some of that negative all the time. We do have to speak against it because our children listen to this stuff. Believe it or not, teenagers listen to us. And if the teenager hear us saying we ain't nothing, what they gonna think about themselves? On that note, I'm gone. Peace and one love, Afro Native world. We straighten everything. Trigger Happy 6262 and everybody else in the chat. Peace, one love to you, Koku. And once again, thank you, my man.
Yeah, no problem. No, thank you, man. Thank you for coming through. This is what I was saying earlier. It provides this diversity of thought, and so this diversity of thinking and speaking. So, I appreciate you coming through as well as Uzuli. I appreciate hearing you guys speak to your beliefs, speak to your thoughts, and I think it's wonderful for the people to hear it too. Confidence, sorry you came in late, but we're gonna go. But if Bakari goes on later, I'll be up for a little while longer. I'll tune in, so you guys tune into Bakari tonight. We went over time, but I think it was a good conversation and worth it. I'll be back next week. I might start doing something new. I'm thinking about something, but I don't want to start something that I'm not able to finish. But I'll let you guys know if I do it or not. Thanks for the super chats tonight, KW Don 7 and Lero. Thank you guys for your super stickers and super chats, etc. I guess I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see you guys during the week on all the other shows on KWAZ Radio. Shout out to everyone who participated tonight. See you next time. Peace.
Peace. Good night.